Stray dog follows a boy home, and the reunion will make you cry. In a bustling city where dreams often felt out of reach, a young boy named Leo discovered an unexpected friend in the most unlikely of places. Leo was a quiet, introspective 12-year-old with a mop of unruly brown hair and big, curious eyes that seemed to absorb the world around him. He lived in a small apartment with his mother, a single parent who worked long hours at a local diner to make ends meet. Their life was a constant balancing act, filled with the hum of city life and the warmth of their modest home. But Leo often felt a sense of loneliness that echoed through the narrow streets and crowded parks. One chilly autumn afternoon, as the leaves danced down from the trees, Leo wandered home from school, his backpack slung over one shoulder. He often took the long way, preferring the quiet of the park to the noise of the streets. It was there, amidst the rustling leaves and the fading sunlight, that he first saw her, a scruffy, golden-brown dog with soulful eyes and a coat that looked like it had seen better days. She was curled up on a bench, shivering slightly, her ribs visible beneath her matted fur. Leo's heart ached at the sight. He had always loved animals, often daydreaming about having a pet of his own. But with his mother's long hours and their small living space, it was a luxury they couldn't afford. Still, something about the dog called to him. He approached slowly, crouching down to her level. "Hey there, girl," he whispered, extending a hand. The dog lifted her head, her eyes brightening with cautious curiosity. "Are you lost?" Leo asked, his voice soft. The dog wagged her tail weakly, inching closer. In that moment, a bond began to form, one that would change both their lives forever. Leo named her Bella, inspired by the beauty he saw in her despite her rough exterior. He couldn't take her home, but he began visiting the park every day after school, bringing scraps of food from his lunch and sharing stories about his day. Bella would listen, her head tilted to one side, as if she understood every word. Their connection deepened, and Leo found solace in her presence, a companionship that filled the void of loneliness he often felt. As the days turned into weeks, Leo noticed that Bella had become a fixture in his life. He would rush home from school, eager to see her, and she would greet him with a wagging tail and a joyful bark. But as winter approached, the weather grew colder, and Leo worried about Bella's safety. He knew he had to do something. One evening, as he sat at the kitchen table, his mother, Maria, noticed the worry etched on his face. "What's bothering you, Leo?" she asked, her voice gentle. He hesitated, then shared his secret about Bella. Maria listened intently, her brow furrowing as he described the dog's plight. "Mom, I can't just leave her out there. She needs help," Leo pleaded, his voice trembling with emotion. Maria sighed, her heart aching for her son. She understood the bond he had formed, but the reality of their situation weighed heavily on her. "Leo, we can't afford a pet right now. It's a big responsibility," she said softly. "But she's not just a pet. She's my friend," Leo replied, his eyes shining with determination. Maria saw the passion in her son's eyes and felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps they could find a way to help Bella without bringing her home. That night, they made a plan. They would gather supplies, blankets, food, and a makeshift shelter, and set it up in the park where Bella spent her days. Leo's heart swelled with gratitude as his mother agreed to help. Together, they ventured to the park the next day, armed with supplies and a shared mission. As they set up the shelter, Leo felt a sense of purpose wash over him. He was doing something meaningful, something that could change Bella's life. When they finished, he called out for her, and Bella appeared, her tail wagging furiously as she approached her new home. Leo knelt down, and Bella nuzzled against him, her warmth a comfort against the chill of the evening air. "See, "You're going to be okay," Leo whispered, tears of joy brimming in his eyes. He knew this was just the beginning of their journey together, and he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. But little did Leo know, their bond would soon be tested in ways he could never have imagined. As winter settled in, a series of events would unfold, leading Leo and Bella on an adventure that would reveal the true meaning of bravery, companionship, and the extraordinary bonds that exist between humans and animals. As winter deepened, the city transformed into a frosty wonderland. Snow blanketed the streets, and the air was crisp and biting. Leo and his mother continued to care for Bella, visiting her every day after school. They brought blankets, food, and even toys, creating a little haven for her in the park. Bella thrived under their care, her coat growing shinier and her spirit brighter. Leo felt a sense of pride every time he saw her wagging tail and heard her joyful barks. However, the cold weather brought new challenges. One evening, as Leo and Maria approached the park, they noticed a group of older boys hanging around Bella's shelter. They were laughing and throwing snowballs at each other. But Leo's heart sank when he saw one of them kick at the shelter. Bella yelped, retreating to the far corner, her eyes wide with fear. "Hey, leave her alone!" Leo shouted, his voice trembling with anger. The boys turned to him, their laughter fading as they sized him up. One of them, a tall boy with a smug grin, stepped forward. "What's it to you, kid? It's just a mutt," he sneered, kicking the snow around Bella's shelter. Leo felt a surge of protectiveness. He couldn't let them hurt her. "She's not just a mutt. She's my friend," Leo shouted, stepping closer. The boys exchanged glances, and Leo could see the amusement fading from their faces. They were bigger and older, but in that moment, Leo felt a rush of bravery. He wouldn't back down. "Whatever, loser," the tall boy said, rolling his eyes. "You think you can take us on?" Leo's heart raced, but he stood his ground. "I'll call the cops if you don't leave her alone," he threatened, pulling out his phone. The boys laughed, but Leo could see their bravado wavering. They didn't want to get in trouble. "Fine. Whatever. Let's go," the tall boy said, motioning for the others to follow. They walked away, but not before throwing one last glance at Leo and Bella. Leo let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding, his heart still pounding in his chest. "Are you okay, Bella?" he whispered, kneeling beside her. She looked up at him, her eyes filled with trust. Leo wrapped his arms around her, feeling her warmth against the cold. "I won't let anyone hurt you. I promise." As the weeks passed, Leo's bond with Bella deepened. He began to notice her quirks, how she would tilt her head when he spoke, how she loved to chase after snowflakes, and how she would curl up beside him, her body radiating warmth. They became inseparable, and Leo found solace in her presence, especially during the long, dark winter nights when he felt the weight of loneliness creeping in. One day, as they played in the park, Leo noticed Bella acting strangely. She was sniffing the ground, her ears perked up, and her tail wagging furiously. "What is it, girl?" Leo asked, intrigued. Bella darted off, leading him toward a cluster of trees at the edge of the park. As they approached, Leo saw something glimmering in the snow. It was a small, silver locket, half buried in the frost. He picked it up, brushing off the snow. The locket was intricately designed, with a delicate engraving of a heart on the front. Leo opened it, revealing a tiny photograph of a girl and a dog, both smiling brightly. "Wow, Bella, look at this!" Leo exclaimed, showing her the locket. Bella sniffed it curiously, her tail wagging even faster. "I wonder who it belongs to." Leo felt a tug of curiosity. He decided to take the locket home, hoping to find its owner. That evening, He and his mother searched online for lost pet reports, but they found nothing. Leo felt a pang of disappointment. He wanted to return the locket to its rightful owner, but he had no leads. Days turned into weeks, and the locket remained a mystery. However, it sparked a new idea in Leo's mind. He wanted to help more animals like Bella. Inspired by their bond, he decided to organize a fundraiser at school to collect supplies for the local animal shelter. He envisioned a bake sale, where he and his classmates could sell treats and raise money for the shelter. "Mom, can we do this?" Leo asked one evening, excitement bubbling in his voice. Maria looked at him, her heart swelling with pride. "Of course, Leo. That's a wonderful idea," she replied, her eyes shining. Together, they began planning the bake sale, gathering recipes and enlisting the help of Leo's friends. As the day of the bake sale approached, Leo felt a mix of excitement and nerves. He wanted it to be a success, not just for the animals but also to show Bella how much he cared. On the day of the event, the school gym was filled with the sweet aroma of baked goods. Cookies, cupcakes, and brownies lined the tables, each one more tempting than the last. Leo's friends rallied around him, helping to set up and sell the treats. As the day went on, they raised more money than Leo had ever imagined. The joy of helping animals filled his heart, and he couldn't wait to deliver the supplies to the shelter. But just as the event was winding down, Leo's phone buzzed with a message from his mother. "Leo, I need you to come home right away. It's about Bella." Panic surged through him. "What happened?" he texted back, his heart racing. "Just come home, please," Maria replied. Leo's stomach twisted in knots as he rushed home, his mind racing with possibilities. Had something happened to Bella? Was she hurt? He burst through the door, breathless and anxious. "Mom, what's wrong?" he called out, searching the apartment for any sign of her. Maria stood in the living room, her face pale and worried. "Leo, I found something," she said, holding out the silver locket. "I was cleaning up and saw this. I think it might belong to someone in the neighborhood." Leo's heart sank. "But I found it in the park. It was Bella who led me to it," he said, confusion clouding his thoughts. "Listen, I think it might be connected to a girl who lives a few blocks away. I saw a flyer for a lost dog, and the girl in the picture looks just like the one in the locket," Maria explained, her voice steadying. "Can we go find her?" Leo asked, hope igniting in his chest. "Of course. Let's go," Maria replied, grabbing her coat. They set out into the cold evening, the streets illuminated by the soft glow of streetlights. Leo's heart raced with anticipation. He couldn't wait to return the locket and hopefully reunite it with its owner. As they approached the address on the flyer, Leo felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. What if the girl didn't want to see him? What if she didn't care about the locket? But he pushed those thoughts aside, focusing on the mission at hand. They knocked on the door, and a moment later, a girl about Leo's age answered. She had curly blonde hair and bright blue eyes that widened in surprise when she saw them. "Hi. Can I help you?" she asked, her voice soft and curious. I think I found something that belongs to you," Leo said, holding out the locket. The girl's eyes lit up as she took it from him, her hands trembling slightly. "Oh my gosh, that's my locket," she exclaimed, her voice filled with disbelief. "I lost it weeks ago when my dog ran away. I thought I'd never see it again." Leo felt a rush of warmth at her joy. "I found it in the park. Bella led me to it," he explained, glancing back at his loyal companion, who sat patiently by his side. "Bella, that's the name of my dog," the girl said, her eyes sparkling with hope. "Do you think she's okay?" Leo nodded, feeling a sense of connection with her. "She's safe. I've been taking care of her. She's really sweet, he reassured her. Can I see her? The girl asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Of course. Come on. Let's go to the park, Leo said, his heart racing with excitement. As they walked together, Leo felt a sense of camaraderie with the girl. Her name was Emma, and she shared stories about her dog, Bella, who had been missing for weeks. Leo listened intently, feeling the weight of their shared experience. When they reached the park, Leo called out for Bella. She came bounding toward them, her tail wagging furiously. Emma gasped, her eyes filling with tears as she knelt down, calling out, "Bella! Bella! Is that you?" Bella rushed to Emma, her joy palpable as she licked Emma's face, her tail wagging like a flag. Leo watched, his heart swelling with happiness. This was the moment he had hoped for, the reunion that would bring them all together. Emma hugged Bella tightly, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I missed you so much," she cried, her voice choked with emotion. Bella responded with a happy bark, nuzzling into Emma's embrace. Leo felt a bittersweet pang in his chest. He was happy for Emma, but he also felt a sense of loss. Bella had become such an important part of his life, and now he had to let her go. "Thank you for taking care of her," Emma said, looking up at Leo with gratitude in her eyes. "I can't believe you found her. You're amazing." Leo smiled, feeling a warmth spread through him. "I just wanted to help. She's a great dog," he replied, his voice steady. As they stood together, Bella between them, Leo realized that this was not just an ending but a new beginning. He had helped reunite a girl with her beloved dog, and in doing so, he had forged a new friendship with Emma. "Do you want to come to the shelter with me? I'm delivering supplies from the bake sale," Leo offered, his heart racing with excitement. "Absolutely. I'd love to help," Emma replied, her eyes shining with enthusiasm. Together, they walked to the shelter, Bella happily trotting alongside them. Leo felt a sense of purpose and joy, knowing that he had made a difference in someone's life. As they arrived at the shelter, Leo and Emma unloaded the supplies, their laughter echoing through the halls. They spent the afternoon playing with the animals, sharing stories, and bonding over their love for dogs. In that moment, Leo realized that the bond he had formed with Bella had led him to something even greater, a friendship that would last a lifetime. But as the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the shelter, Leo couldn't shake the feeling that their journey was far from over. Little did he know, a new challenge awaited them, one that would test their bravery and the strength of their newfound friendship. As winter continued to blanket the city in snow, Leo and Emma's friendship blossomed. They spent nearly every day together, often meeting at the park to play with Bella or volunteering at the animal shelter. Leo felt a sense of belonging he had never experienced before, and Emma brought a lightness to his heart that chased away the shadows of loneliness. Bella thrived in their company, her playful spirit shining brighter than ever. However, one fateful afternoon, everything changed. Leo and Emma had planned a special outing to the park, where they would set up a mini obstacle course for Bella, complete with treats and toys. The excitement buzzed in the air as they gathered their supplies. But as they approached the park, a sense of unease settled over Leo. "Do you feel that?" Leo asked, glancing at Emma. She nodded, her brow furrowed in concern. "Yeah, it feels different today," she replied, her voice low. The park, usually filled with laughter and joy, felt eerily quiet. The trees loomed overhead, their branches heavy with snow, and the wind whispered through the air, carrying an unsettling chill. As they reached the clearing where they usually played, Leo spotted a group of men gathered near the edge of the park. They were dressed in dark clothing, their voices low and tense. Leo's heart raced as he recognized one of them, the tall boy from before, the one who had bullied him and Bella. "Leo, Maybe we should go somewhere else, Emma suggested, her voice trembling slightly. But before Leo could respond, the tall boy spotted them and smirked, beckoning his friends over. Look who it is! The dog lover and his little girlfriend, he taunted, stepping closer. Leo felt a surge of anger but also fear. He didn't want to confront them again, especially not with Emma by his side. Just leave us alone, Leo said, trying to sound braver than he felt. Bella stood beside him, her hackles raised, sensing the tension in the air. Or what? You'll call the cops again? The tall boy laughed, his friends joining in. You think that mutt will protect you? Leo's heart raced as he glanced at Bella, who was growling softly, her eyes fixed on the boys. She's not just a mutt. She's my friend, Leo said, his voice steady despite the fear coursing through him. Yeah? Well, we're going to have some fun, the tall boy sneered, reaching down to grab a snowball. He hurled it at Bella, who yelped and jumped back, her eyes wide with fear. Stop it, Leo shouted, stepping forward. But before he could react, the boy's friends joined in, throwing snowballs at Bella and laughing as she darted away, trying to escape the barrage. Leave her alone, Emma cried, stepping in front of Leo, her eyes blazing with anger. You're being cruel. The boys laughed, but Leo felt a surge of determination. He couldn't let them hurt Bella. You think this is funny? She's just a dog, he shouted, his voice rising above the laughter. Maybe we should teach you both a lesson, the tall boy said, stepping closer, his expression darkening. Leo's heart raced as he realized they were serious. Run, Bella, Leo yelled, and in that moment, everything shifted. Bella bolted away from the chaos, her instincts kicking in as she darted toward the trees. Get her, the tall boy shouted, and his friends took off after Bella, their laughter echoing through the park. Leo, we have to help her, Emma cried, her voice filled with panic. Without thinking, Leo sprinted after Bella, his heart pounding in his chest. He could hear the boys behind him, their shouts growing louder as they chased after the frightened dog. Bella, he called, desperation lacing his voice. Leo pushed through the snow, his breath coming in quick gasps. He could see Bella ahead, her golden fur a flash of movement against the white landscape. She was fast, but the boys were gaining on her. Stay close, Bella, Leo shouted, his voice breaking. He felt a surge of fear as he realized they were closing in. Just as he reached the edge of the trees, he saw Bella cornered, her back against a thick trunk, her eyes wide with fear. The boys were closing in, their laughter echoing in the cold air. Gotcha, the tall boy shouted, lunging forward. No, Leo screamed, his heart racing as he pushed himself harder. He couldn't let them hurt her. He had to protect her. In a moment of sheer instinct, Leo dove forward, putting himself between Bella and the boys. Get away from her, he shouted, his voice fierce. The boys stopped, surprised by Leo's sudden bravery. What are you going to do, kid? You think you can take us on? The tall boy sneered, but Leo stood his ground, his heart pounding in his chest. I'll do whatever it takes to protect her, Leo said, his voice steady despite the fear coursing through him. The boys exchanged glances, their bravado faltering. You're crazy, one of them muttered, stepping back. Yeah, let's get out of here, the tall boy said, his confidence wavering. As they turned to leave, Leo felt a rush of relief wash over him. He had stood up for Bella, and it had worked. But just as he began to breathe again, he heard a rustling in the bushes behind him. Leo! Emma's voice called out, and he turned to see her running toward him, her face pale with worry. Are you okay? She asked, her eyes darting between him and Bella. I'm fine. Bella's fine, Leo replied, kneeling down to comfort the trembling dog. Bella nuzzled against him, her body shaking with fear. "Let's get out of here," Emma said, glancing back toward the direction the boys had gone. Leo nodded, wrapping his arms around Bella and standing up. "Come on, girl. You're safe now," he whispered, feeling a surge of protectiveness. As they walked back toward the park entrance, Leo felt a mix of emotions: relief, fear, and a newfound sense of bravery. He had faced his fears for Bella, and in doing so, he had discovered a strength he didn't know he possessed. But as they reached the edge of the park, Leo's heart sank. He realized that the boys wouldn't just give up. They would come back, and next time, they might not be so easily deterred. "Leo, what are we going to do?" Emma asked, her voice trembling. "I don't know," Leo admitted, his mind racing. "But we can't let them hurt Bella again. We have to come up with a plan." Emma nodded, determination shining in her eyes. "We'll figure it out together," she said, her voice steady. As they walked home, Bella nestled between them. Leo felt a sense of purpose. He had faced his fears, and now he was ready to protect his friend at all costs. But little did they know, the real challenge was just beginning. The following days were filled with tension and uncertainty. Leo and Emma spent every moment they could together, brainstorming ways to keep Bella safe. They knew the boys would likely return, emboldened by their earlier encounter. Leo felt a weight on his shoulders, knowing that he had to protect Bella not just from the boys but also from the fear that threatened to creep back into his heart. One afternoon, as they sat in Leo's living room, surrounded by sketches and notes for their plan, Emma looked up from her notebook. "What if we set up a watch? We could take turns keeping an eye on Bella when she's in the park," she suggested, her eyes bright with determination. "That could work," Leo replied, nodding. "But we need to make sure we're not alone. If the boys come back, we need backup." Emma's face lit up with an idea. "What if we ask some of our friends to help? We could make it a group thing, like a dog club or something." Leo grinned at the thought. "That's a great idea. We could even make flyers and post them around the neighborhood." With renewed energy, they set to work. They created colorful flyers, inviting kids from school to join their dog safety club. They explained their mission: to protect Bella and other animals in the neighborhood from harm. The response was overwhelming. By the end of the week, they had gathered a small group of friends who were eager to help. On Saturday morning, they met at the park, excitement buzzing in the air. Leo introduced everyone to Bella, who greeted each new friend with wagging tails and happy barks. The group quickly bonded over their shared love for animals, and Leo felt a sense of camaraderie that filled him with hope. "Okay, everyone, here's the plan," Leo said, standing on a bench to address the group. "We'll take turns watching Bella while she plays. If we see anyone suspicious, we'll alert each other and stay together." Emma chimed in, "And we can set up a signal. If someone sees the boys, we'll all gather at the big tree over there." She pointed to a large oak tree at the edge of the park, its branches stretching wide like welcoming arms. The kids nodded, enthusiasm radiating from their faces. They spent the day playing with Bella, setting up a makeshift obstacle course, and practicing their signals. Laughter filled the air, and for the first time in weeks, Leo felt a sense of normalcy return to his life. But as the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the park, Leo's heart sank. He couldn't shake the feeling that the boys would come back. Just as they were packing up, he spotted a familiar figure lurking at the edge of the park. It was the tall boy, flanked by his friends, watching them with a predatory gaze. "Guys, I think they're here," Leo whispered, his heart racing. The group fell silent, their eyes darting toward the boys. "Everyone, to the tree!" Emma shouted, her voice steady despite the fear in her eyes. The kids quickly gathered around the oak tree, their hearts pounding in unison. The boys approached, their laughter echoing through the park. "What's this? A little dog club?" The tall boy sneered, his eyes narrowing as he took in the scene. "Leave us alone," Leo shouted, stepping forward, his heart pounding. He felt a surge of bravery, fueled by the support of his friends. "Or what? You think you can take us on again?" the tall boy taunted, stepping closer. Leo glanced at his friends, who stood behind him, their expressions a mix of fear and determination. "We're not afraid of you," Leo said, his voice steady. The boys exchanged glances, their bravado faltering. "You think you can protect that mutt?" The tall boy scoffed, but Leo could see the uncertainty in his eyes. "Bella is not just a mutt. She's our friend, and we'll do whatever it takes to keep her safe," Leo declared, his voice rising above the tension. The boys hesitated, their confidence wavering. "Whatever, we don't need to waste our time with you losers," the tall boy said, turning to leave. But just as they began to walk away, one of the boys threw a snowball at Bella, hitting her squarely on the side. Bella yelped, startled, and Leo felt a surge of anger. "Stop it," Leo shouted, his heart racing. "You're just a bunch of bullies." The boys turned back, their laughter echoing in the cold air. "What are you going to do about it?" the tall boy taunted, stepping closer. In that moment, Leo felt a rush of adrenaline. He couldn't let them get away with this. "You're not going to hurt her anymore," he yelled, stepping forward, ready to confront them. But before he could react, Bella darted forward, barking fiercely. She stood between Leo and the boys, her body tense and ready to protect her friend. "Look at that. The mutt thinks she can scare us," the tall boy laughed. But Leo could see the fear in his eyes. "Bella, come back," Leo called, but Bella stood her ground, her growls echoing through the park. "Let's get out of here," one of the boys muttered, glancing nervously at Bella. "Yeah, this isn't worth it," the tall boy said, backing away. As they retreated, Leo felt a rush of relief wash over him. Bella had stood up for him, just as he had stood up for her. "Good girl, Bella," Leo exclaimed, kneeling down to hug her. She licked his face, her tail wagging furiously. Emma joined them, her eyes shining with pride. "You did it, Leo. You stood up to them." "I couldn't have done it without you guys," Leo replied, looking around at his friends. "We're a team." As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the park, Leo felt a sense of triumph. They had faced their fears together, and in doing so, they had forged a bond that would last a lifetime. But as they began to pack up their things, Leo couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't the end. The boys would likely return, and they needed to be prepared. "Let's meet here tomorrow and come up with a plan," Leo suggested, his voice steady. "We need to make sure Bella is safe." The group nodded in agreement, their determination shining through. They would protect Bella, no matter what it took. As they left the park, Leo felt a sense of hope. They had faced their fears, and together, they would continue to fight for what was right. But deep down, Leo knew that the real test was yet to come. The following days were filled with a mix of anticipation and anxiety. Leo and Emma, along with their friends from the Dog Safety Club, met daily at the park, reinforcing their plans to protect Bella. They set up a rotating schedule, ensuring that someone was always watching over her. The camaraderie among the group grew stronger, and they shared stories, laughter, and even a few tears as they navigated the challenges of their mission. One crisp Saturday morning, as the sun peeked through the clouds, Leo felt a sense of determination wash over him. Today was the day they would confront the boys once and for all. They had devised a plan to stand their ground, and Leo was ready to face whatever came their way. Okay, everyone. Remember the plan, Leo said, gathering the group around Bella's makeshift obstacle course. If we see them, we stick together. No one is alone. We're stronger as a team. Emma nodded, her eyes shining with resolve. And if they try anything, we'll just call for help. We've got each other's backs. The group cheered, their spirits high as they played with Bella, who seemed to sense the excitement in the air. She bounded around, her tail wagging, her energy infectious. As the day wore on, Leo kept a watchful eye on the park entrance, his heart racing with anticipation. He knew the boys would come. It was only a matter of time. Just as the sun began to dip low in the sky, casting long shadows across the park, Leo spotted the familiar figures approaching. The tall boy and his friends sauntered in, their expressions a mix of arrogance and disdain. Look who it is! The little dog club, the tall boy sneered, his eyes narrowing as he took in the scene. Leave us alone, Leo shouted, stepping forward, his heart pounding. Or what? You think you can scare us with your little friends? The tall boy taunted, glancing at the group behind Leo. But Leo felt a surge of confidence. We're not afraid of you. We're here to protect Bella, and we won't let you hurt her again. The boys exchanged glances, their bravado faltering. You think that Mutt is worth all this trouble? One of them scoffed. She's worth more than you'll ever know, Emma replied, stepping beside Leo, her voice steady. The tension in the air was palpable as the two groups faced off. Leo could feel the support of his friends behind him, their presence a comforting reminder that he wasn't alone. Let's settle this, the tall boy said, his voice low. You think you can take us on? Prove it. Leo's heart raced. He knew they couldn't fight physically, but he also knew they had something stronger, unity and determination. We don't want to fight. We just want you to leave us alone, Leo said, his voice firm. Boring, the tall boy replied, rolling his eyes. You're all just a bunch of losers. But just as he turned to leave, Bella stepped forward, barking fiercely. She stood her ground, her body tense, ready to protect her friends. See, even the dog knows you're weak, the tall boy said. But Leo could see the uncertainty in his eyes. Bella's not weak. She's brave, just like us, Leo declared, feeling a rush of pride. The boys hesitated, their confidence wavering. Whatever, we're out of here, the tall boy muttered, turning to leave. As they walked away, Leo felt a wave of relief wash over him. They had stood their ground, and it had worked. Good job, everyone, Leo exclaimed, turning to his friends. We did it. Cheers erupted from the group, and Bella bounded around them, barking happily. In that moment, Leo realized that they had not only protected Bella but had also forged a bond that would last a lifetime. They had faced their fears together, and in doing so, they had discovered the true meaning of friendship and bravery. As the sun set, casting a warm glow over the park, Leo felt a sense of peace settle over him. He had learned that standing up for what was right was not just about bravery. It was about love, loyalty, and the connections they formed along the way. In the weeks that followed, the Dog Safety Club continued to thrive. They organized more events, raising awareness about animal safety and encouraging others to join their cause. Leo and Emma became inseparable, their friendship deepening as they worked together to make a difference in their community. Bella, once a stray, had found her forever home in their hearts. She became a beloved member of their group, a symbol of the extraordinary bond between humans and animals. One evening, as they sat together in the park, watching Bella play with her new friends, Leo turned to Emma. I'm so glad we found each other, he said, his voice filled with gratitude. Me too, Emma replied, her eyes shining. I never knew I could feel this way about a dog, or about friends? Leo smiled, feeling a warmth spread through him. We've created something special, haven't we? Yeah, we really have, Emma said, her voice soft. As they watched Bella chase after a snowflake, Leo felt a sense of hope for the future. They had faced challenges, but they had also discovered the power of friendship, bravery, and love. And as the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Leo knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, united by their extraordinary bond. Thanks for joining us on this journey with our furry champions. If you enjoyed this heartwarming story, don't forget to subscribe to Furry Champions. Hit that like button and share with friends to spread the love for our furry friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, celebrate the amazing bond between humans and animals. See you in the next video.